This is my 2013 Nissan 370Z. I've owned this car for a bit over a year now, and I've got some things to talk about. Some good things, some bad things, and everything in between. So a bit of backstory, before I had this, I was driving around a Mitsubishi Lancer, but I just wanted something that was more enjoyable to drive. 350Z and 370Z was always a kind of childhood dream car of mine, so that was pretty immediately on the list. When I was searching for a 370Z to purchase, I had a pretty strict criteria. It had to be white, it had to be manual, and it had to be the facelift. And here I found my car. I purchased it last year for $27,000 and with only 96,000 kilometers on the clock. Since then, I've gotten that up to about 125,000 kilometers from just commuting around. Now, in Australia, I don't believe we got different trim levels of 370Z. Obviously, there was the 370Z and the 370Z Nismo, but the Nismo is a whole different story. With the 370Z itself, I believe for the US market equivalent, this would be a touring spec, as it comes with leather-heated seats, the full sat-nav system, and Bose speaker system. Did you know that the subwoofer is in the spare tyre well? Under the bonnet is a 3.7 litre dual overhead cam VQ37 VHR V6, producing around 245 kilowatts of naturally aspirated power and 365 Nm of torque, which I think is plenty power for a car that only weighs around 1.4 tonne. In terms of what I've done to the car so far, not really that much. The only thing I've changed is the exhaust. So I went from the stock exhaust to a Invidia Gemini catback exhaust, which makes it sound 100 times better. The stock exhaust makes it sound like a Camry, so this really makes it sound like a sports car now. It's actually kind of hard not to be kind of heavy on the accelerator when you're, wanting to hear the car because of how good it sounds. The other thing I've changed as well is that I got the clutch replaced recently and I converted it from a dual mass flywheel to a single mass flywheel. Now, I just want to talk about the car, pros and cons, what I like, what I don't like, based off the experience I've had with it over the past year or so. First up, starting with the outside, I really love this design. I think, personally, in my opinion, that this is a timeless design. If you tell people that this car is from 2013, they wouldn't think it because of just how modern it looks, even for its age. I really love the proportions of the car and how it's sized with the large front and the swooping rear, even the little things like, the boomerang style headlights and taillights. These really awesome 19-inch raised forged wheels, which I've got wrapped in Michelin Part Sport 5s. The really big doors and this tiny little window here that's kind of useless, but it's just really cool. I really, really like how this car looks, and it's really awesome. It's something that I always am looking back at or taking photos of or looking at a reflection. And when you have that with a car, that's what you want. And as such, since it's a sporty looking car, you get a lot of attention for it. And, a lot of people come up and you ask you to rev it out, which is quite cool as well. What's also really awesome is not just the looks, it's the driving experience. This car is just so much more fun to drive. Like, it is incredible. It's very responsive. Once you get it in the right rev range, it just wants to take off. Especially since I've put these Michelin tires on, it gets right on the ground and just sends all its power out, and it's just so much fun. The seating position in the 370Z is pretty perfect, actually, I would say, because you don't sit as low as like a BRZ or 86, but you're still relatively low, and it just feels really good to sit in. The steering is really precise and very, it's not light. It feels pretty good to do it, and the car responds to you very well. And of course, it's sporty as well because you've got 3 pedals and a 6-speed manual transmission, which is always fun to drive. Did you know as well, with this steering wheel, you can actually move the steering wheel, right? But the gauge cluster moves with you. So you're always having the gauge cluster in the most optimal view right here, And I thought that was pretty neat. It does feel sporty every time you drive it, from the interior you're sitting in, which I'll talk about more soon, to just how the car responds to you. Now, like I mentioned before, this car's a 6-speed manual, which is awesome. But what else is awesome? Little button right there. That is sport mode. And what does it do? It enables a feature called SynchroRev Match. What that does, when you're downshifting, so let's say you're in third and then you go to second, the car will blip the throttle for you so that you're automatically rev matching, which I think it's really fun. It's really fun. You get a nice noise to it. It's better for the car. It's just a fun little feature and I really like it. I will say, however, the driving experience hasn't always been perfect. I'm not sure if it's just an issue with my car or maybe it's an issue with all 370s, but there seems to be a bit of like throttle lag, or maybe it's just not enough like low-end torque. When you're at a stop, it's kind of hard to get the car going. Like once it's in the right rev range, it's just going to shoot off like a rocket. But when you're from zero, it's kind of a bit laggy to actually get going. It's a weird effect because, you know, like you expect the car to be fast. You kind of brace yourself for it, but then it kind of doesn't pick up for a little bit. So you're kind of bracing yourself for nothing. But at the same time, sometimes it can be really quite quick off the mark. So it's a bit bipolar, to be honest. And I'm not sure if that's just an issue with my car or with all 370s. Another slight issue with the car, I don't know if this is another thing that's just with my car or with all 370s, but I find it really hard to get into second. Obviously now, with the engine not running, it's going to go into second easy, right? But when I'm driving, it doesn't matter if I'm going from first to second or from third to second. It just does not go in that easily like it is now. Kind of just sits there and you're kind of like struggling to get it in. It's not like it's grinding or anything. It just kind of just sits like at that point there. It doesn't go in the whole way. It kind of just wants to sit on the outside. With the SynchroRev Match turned on, it blips the throttle because it knows you want to go in a second, but it's quite hard to get it into seconds. I don't really know what the problem is, but I thought it'd be worth mentioning. One thing you won't have to worry about, however, is that this is a Japanese car, so it's reliable. Touch wood, I haven't had any issues with it since I've bought it, other than just, you know, regular maintenance and all that kind of thing. And on top of that, the fuel usage is not too bad. For such a small car, it has a pretty big tank. It's 71 litres, so that's quite a lot of fuel. I get about 500 Ks on a full tank, maybe 600 if I'm being a bit nicer on the accelerator, which isn't bad. I'm not like complaining about that. So yeah, it's good. Coming back to the interior, remember before when I said that people won't think it's from 2013 when they look at the outside? They might get an idea when they come on the inside, but personally, I really like this kind of design. It's very simple and that's all you need it for. And I kind of just love this, you know, the little retro red LEDs that are dotted around the place, the analog gauges, this kind of retro screen with all these tactile buttons. It's just, I really love it. In terms of tech, it's pretty decent. You have this full sat-nav system. You get nifty features like fuel economy, so you can see how many liters per 100 you're doing and your distance till empty. There's like so many settings that you can change as well throughout this. You can set your own service indicators, which I think I forgot to do actually for my new tires. But yeah, you can set your own indicators as to when, you know, you need your engine oil done or your tires or anything else. And you just set your own kilometer interval, which is really cool. And there's also this cool feature called Where Am I, which will give you your exact coordinate readout and nearest street name, which would be really good, you know, if you're in an emergency or something and you need to tell someone where you are. That's really handy. Down here in the center console, you get USB input as well as AV input, which is great if you want to plug in your Nintendo Wii or something. This car does come with Bluetooth connectivity, which works most of the time. And obviously the sound system is awesome because it's a Bose sound system. But at the same time, it's also not great because sometimes the phone will just randomly disconnect, which is kind of annoying when you're driving and, you know, you've got a really good song on and the Bluetooth just disconnects for a couple seconds, but it always just reconnects back. I don't know what it is. It's probably just, you know, the age of the Bluetooth. On top of that, the hands-free microphone for phone calls, I've been told is garbage. Please turn it off. Can you put your phone on speaker? It's just not good. So I'm going to try find a way to fix that at some point. Alongside to that, the car doesn't come with any kind of phone projection like Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. That's been a thing throughout the entire line of 370Z cars, but there is a way to retrofit Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and I'm going to be looking at that soon. So if you'd like to see a video on that, let me know. Now, sitting here in the interior, I mean, these seats are really comfortable. They just hold you in and they do the job, and it's great. And like I mentioned before, the seating position as well, pretty great. Like, this is your, like, at my eye level. You've got what you need to see in the gauges and you've got what you need to see on the road. It just works out beautifully. The only issue is that it's a 2-seater, and a lot of people think it's a 4-seater. So it's great if you want to get out of lifts, but it's not so great when your mates kind of rip into you for only having 2 seats. But hey, it's a sports car. What are you going to do? Moving through the car, it can be pretty practical actually for the size of it. I was able to fit 2 luggage bags, some backpacks and hiking boots in this on a trip to the airport. And yeah, obviously it filled up this entire space, but you know, it did the job. The only issue with Practicality is since you have this sloped rear, obviously it kind of cuts off some of the available space. Even for, like, you know, simple trips like shopping, like groceries, you need to have the groceries there rather than here. Because if they're here, when the boot lid comes down, it's just going to crush your groceries. So you've got to move them up to here. Inside, it's pretty decent. You've got some nice door bins here, which I usually just have my water bottle in my sunglasses case there. Glove box in the middle there, which is small, but, you know, fits your wallet, mints, all the important stuff. You've got little pockets back here, which can hold some stuff. I gotta, you know, hold the all-important nitrous. And there's also, it's kind of hard to see, but there is this little panel back here, which holds absolutely nothing, but hey, it's there if you want it. One nifty thing is you've got this little holder here for your keys. A lot of modern cars don't have anywhere for you to put your, you know, keyless fob, so that's really nice. You've got door bins on that side as well. No sunglasses holder or anything at the top. And of course, you've got a glove box here, which just holds your manual, and that's about it. Now, what I'll have to say is probably the worst design in this car and the most annoying is this cup holder here. Because, you know, it works fine if you're left-hand drive, because your arm would be resting over the lowered handbrake to change gears, right? But with the right-hand drive, it rests right there. What are you going to do when you have something in the cup holder? You know what I mean? Let's put this bottle here. Let's say you have a mate or even yourself, you put a bottle there. It's just going to get... you're going to get in the way to change your gears. It doesn't work. I don't like it. I wish that someone would make like a reversed piece of this. So put cup holder here and the handbrake here. That would be awesome. But yeah, that's the most annoying bit. One of the things that people always complain about on their 370Z review videos that I've seen is blind spots. Blind spots, blind spots, blind spots. Obviously, there is a blind spot right there. It's a pretty big one. But at the same time, if you have your mirrors set right, like I do here, and you do your head checks, you're not really going to have that much of an issue. The only time you'll have an issue is, you know, if that is all blocked with luggage when you're trying to max out the practicality of your Z and you can't really see through your rear window, then yeah, it's going to be a trouble. But if you're just doing head checks and you've got your mirrors set right, you'll be fine. Another thing as well, if you've never had a sports car before, you know, just be ready for the more kind of harsher suspension. Obviously, since it's a sports car, and obviously as well, since it's a sports car, you sit pretty low to the ground, even at stock height. I wouldn't want to really lower it because I always kind of scrape out, even out my own driveway. You do have this plastic protector under your front bumper that helps with some of the protection from scraping, but yeah, it's still something to be wary of. So to end this video out, would I still buy one after having it for this year? And the answer is yes, like absolutely. Like, this is a tried and true NA sports car, and it is just so much fun to drive, even for small little trips to the shops or something. And I haven't even taken it on the track yet, but that's coming soon, so stick around for that. The car sounds great, it's really comfortable. The interior is still new enough that you have, you know, modern features, but you've still got tactile buttons and don't need screens for everything, so that's really good. And I mean, this car's a cult classic, so I mean, if you weren't interested in it, then why are you watching this video? I think I would really highly recommend, even if you can get one out for a test drive and just get a feel for it, you will fall in love with this car.